For generations, every great human society and empire has risen and fallen, and throughout that time, individuals such as historians and philosophers have sought to categorize and identify key aspects that unite these societies' high and low periods. This leads us to the collective work of Strauss and Howe, who were respectively an author and a historian. They studied 500 years of Anglo-American history, developing a theory of history revolving around so-called turnings. In their theory, the world is in a constant 80 to 100 year cycle in which there are 4 distinct turnings lasting about 20 to 25 years. The first turning is the high. This is essentially the society's peak, in which all citizens live in a high quality of life, national unity is at its maximum, and it is considered a sort of golden age. The second turning is the awakening. During the awakening period, new ideas and thoughts challenge the established order brought about during the high. Third turning is the unraveling. Here, the full effects of the awakening come into effect. Institutions are severely weakened, and the population becomes fragmented and turns on each other, and hyper-individualism becomes rampant. The fourth turning is the crisis. Here is where the political, moral, social, and religious foundations of the nation crumble. A major crisis or multiple come in the form of economic instability, revolution, and social unrest. In the ashes, a new order will be built and society will be remade. Following this model, we can gain a greater insight into both America's past and America's future. Let's go through each stage and apply it to the United States. America's first turning began after the victory of World War II. Following the timescale from Strauss and Howe, it would be 1946 to 1964. In this time, America was united in a single unified culture. People could work ordinary jobs and be able to support large families and buy property. Technology like the space program was launching America into a new technological age. This timeline would suggest that America's high ended around Kennedy's assassination in 1963. America's second turning, the awakening, following the same timescale, would go from 1964 to 1984. In this time, we had the first counterculture movements, the civil rights protests, feminism, anti-war and gay rights, as well as the more widespread use of drugs and psychedelics. All of these things challenged the traditional ideas and institutions of the high period, ending around Reagan's presidency. America's third turning, the unraveling, would then go from 1984 to the financial crisis in 2008. In this span of time, the Berlin Wall and Soviet Union fell, yet American society completely shattered. Events like Columbine, 9/11, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, the LA riots, and more reshaped American society into a more fearful, individual, and horrifying place. Coming to an end with the financial crisis, which would bring us into the fourth turning. Looking back 80 years, the fourth turning brought America the Great Depression and the Second World War. 80 years before that, the Civil War, and 80 years before that, the Revolutionary War. So what will this fourth turning be? Well, while we don't know, we can speculate. With multiple theaters of conflict with Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, the U.S. could be drawn into another great power conflict, and which in the end would reshape the global world order. Or it could be financial. More inflation, less work, lower wages, which would lead to a great financial crisis like the Great Depression. Or it could be political, with the left and right wing becoming more extreme and more violent. Riots, insurrections, civil unrest could put the country on a path of possible civil war, or at least open rebellion. We know for sure that COVID was a part of the fourth turning. But as for what comes next, it could be one of the things I just listed, all of them combined, or some kind of X-factor crisis impossible to foresee. All that we do know is that this country is entering into an unprecedented state in its history, and we are at a crossroads. And the only questions that can be asked is, how does this all end? What are your theories on what the fourth turning could be? Make sure to leave a comment below and subscribe.